Local Biz Now. I'm here with Bill Russell and Tracy Alston, and now for her introduction.
Tracy Alston, a beacon of light, guiding us through the darkest of nights. A licensed clinical mental health counselor with expertise that couldn't be fuller. Board certified in biofeedback and neurofeedback. Her knowledge and skills never come in second. She hosts the Mental Fitness Matters show, helping us understand the mind's ebb and flow. An entrepreneur and CEO, she leads the way, with new mentality and mental edge fitness solutions at play. Innovative strategies to improve mental health and fitness, Tracy Alston's impact on the world is priceless. A basketball player and Wake Forest grad, her passion for mental wellness is more than a fad. Her clients benefit from her love and care. With Tracy Alston, they're never alone in their despair. On the airwaves every Thursday, her voice, like a warm breeze in May, comforting those who need a listening ear. Tracy Alston, a hero we hold dear.
That was a
awesome.
good poem.
That was really good.
Look at Bill and say, wrong.
Thanks, Julie.
There you go. Back to you.
Yes.
Refresh everybody's memory.
Yeah.
What is mental health, fitness, and biofeedback, and what you do, girl? What is it? Because, I've had you on the show many times.
Yes.
You've been a co-host. I still can't figure out what you do.
Well, first off, I just want to thank you for always bringing me back. I think I'm honored to be here every time I get a chance to show up alongside of you and Bill. Anytime I get a chance to be at WSIC, I'm grateful and I'm thankful. But yes, my background, I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor. I'm also board certified in bio and neurofeedback. My passion is around helping people improve their overall mental wellness and recognizing that the brain is the engine of our body. And so the work that I do and specialize in my companies is really understanding, number one, how the brain and body respond to stress. And then number two, using technology and different tools so that we can really assess when we're in a more over-aroused or stressed state versus relaxed state and helping people find their balance. Oftentimes, people are experiencing external, internal stressors, and getting feedback on where you are is a powerful tool. So with technology, we're able to see where you are, create a game plan by mapping your brain to help you get to where you want to go. So the work that I specialize in, whether we're treating children and families, children with attention deficit disorders, or children who are looking to perform better academically or via sport, or adults who are looking to step down off medications or not having to go that medication route, wherever you are in your life, we have tools and solutions that can help you get there, and we start by looking at and understanding the brain first.
And it seems like the majority of your customer profiles are younger, say middle school to college athletes. Is that a fair statement?
For Mental Edge Fitness, yes. So I own two companies. My first company, New Mentality, founded in 2012, primarily a mental health company. We do counseling, we do biofeedback, neurofeedback, and brain mapping. That demographic is 5 on up. So we see kids that are coming in school age, but we also see...
That is a shame. A 5-year-old kid needs your help.
Yes, 5 years old. It's not necessarily, not a shame. It's really a good thing that somebody's bringing them in. Because I think that more times, if we wait until things are a little bit too late,
right.
Coming in early, if you're seeing some things that you need to have assessed, come in, ask some questions. Let's create a game plan and see where we can go.
And Tracy, it really speaks to what Mike Riley was saying, Bill, which is
yes.
we hope they go to Tracy before they end up at the hospital.
Preventative. Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Okay.
yes, for New Mentality, we're strictly seeing some of everybody for that clientele. But Mental Edge Fitness Solutions in Cornelius inside of Champion Sports Performance, we take care of the mental fitness of our clientele there. So we are seeing athletes, our youth athletes. We have college students. We have business professionals and entrepreneurs that come in, and organizations that kind of come in and get trained there. We're helping people stay mentally fit. We're going to talk about fitness versus just trying to remain well. It's about also being fit so that you can remain well. But yes, we see a lot of sports athletes and business owners at Mental Edge Fitness.
Tracy, I just recently had a class reunion, and I won't say which one because that would really date me, Joe. But I got to tell you, the concern I have was when I was 14, 15, 16, very transformative years.
Yes.
And I'm so concerned that the kids in the last few years, they weren't able to go out. They weren't able to go on their dates. They didn't go to their senior proms. They didn't go to their junior seniors. And I'm really concerned about how that's going to impact them, not just right now, but into the future. You're working very closely with those young people.
Absolutely. You're exactly right. 14, 15, 16, that is a very formative, when we think about the brain is still developing, doesn't fully develop until 25, 26, and so missing out on these years have really, we haven't even seen it yet. We haven't seen the worst of what's happening for people who've missed their prom, missed graduation, really missed really formative years of their lives that they can't really get back, and so the overwhelming stress and anxiety that we're starting to see pick up in our offices, we're seeing more and more people come in with anxiety disorders, depression, suicide rates are higher. We're seeing mass school shootings. So there's a lot going on. So you're exactly right, Bill. There's so much happening behind the scenes. We don't even know the half of it yet.
Okay. First of all, Tracy, I want to warn you.
Okay.
I've asked my buddy and my other mentee, Chris Hoke, to join us because I'm getting ready to ask a question. Chris, join in on the conversation. Justin, you might want to stay out of this, buddy.
I'm going to put my mic
FCC
down.
might be listening. Okay. Okay. I read an article the other day, and this mental fitness dude started it with, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." And then he said, "That no longer applies." Now, Tracy, I don't want to fight with you again, but how yesterday did "sticks and stones not break my bones, words never hurt me" all of a sudden was acceptable, and now today it's not? And now my words are hurting you. Why what I say affects you? What? I'm missing something here.
Yeah.
I started a fight, didn't I?
Tracy, I just can't wait to see how I end up in this conversation. So good luck on your
Tracy,
part as mentee number one.
I don't know where Chris is going to land on this either. I don't.
I think that's such a loaded question, and so when you think about sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never hurt. Back in the day when you're saying that, you're on the playground, you got 2 or 3 friends around you, it's no big deal, right? You get scuffled up, everybody goes home, you're fine. Nowadays, when you say that, you got the entire world watching.
You mean social media?
Social media, everything's live streamed, everybody's watching. So I think the impact of the external viewership, it takes a toll, and depending on where you are in your life. And that's why I think mental fitness has to be the conversation. It's not about being tough, it's about being fit. And so when you think about fitness, that means that you can endure the things that are coming along that's going to happen throughout life.
So why do I seem to be able to mentally be able to handle Chris making fun of me, and Bill cannot? Why is that?
So your confidence and self-esteem, we need to start there because that matters. And so I look at things as layered. I think being confident, being self-aware matters because then you can allow those things to bounce off. Oftentimes now when we think about our youth, they're growing up in a world full of viewership and social media. So they're getting their value, their self-worth, their affirmation from other people's opinions, and they're not able to gauge for themselves what's real and what's not.
I mean, I will admit I'm a little jealous that Justin got a whole bunch more YouTube subscribers than I do. I mean,
do I?
So does that mean he's a better man than me? Because he got more people subscribing.
Does it?
I buy mine, though. That's the
Exactly. Where's the value, right? So does it? It could mean that if that matters to you.
Right.
If you're looking at the value in the numbers.
And it doesn't, and that's probably the difference,
Exactly.
right? Okay, because if it does matter to me, he's a better man than me. And so if he says Joe's no good, I take his statement as being very hurtful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So where do we start with educating and helping people understand that who you are to yourself matters most? Who am I? Most people may not know. If you're not self-aware, you're going to find yourself in situations where you're being pulled left and right and really are going to be impacted by what's going on out here.
Chris, you and Tracy are pretty close in age, but you tend to describe yourself to me a little bit more in my direction, where you seem to have sort of a mental toughness attitude. Am I missing that point?
No, I think you're very much on. But I think the reason for that is something you and I interviewed Tracy, a week or two ago for another project we're working on. Yeah. And you brought up one's upbringing and the family setting. And that's something Tracy and I have very much in common, is we have a very strong base that we come from. We're still very family base. We're much older now, but we still are very close in contact with our families. and that upbringing really influenced that ability to have that mental toughness. And also, when we interviewed Tracy, I'm like, a lot of the things she's saying, it sounds a lot like what my mom would say, because it's like, you make a choice, you know?
Yeah.
So my mama loves me. I don't care what Justin says on the tube.
There you go.
Is that where we're headed here?
Your mama loves you, and then you love yourself because you feel love.
Okay.
Right? So
And that's not easy, right? I mean,
that's not easy. That's not easy. But everybody doesn't grow up in that same space. But sometimes people
because we don't have family members that give us that love and confidence that we need to get started.
Right. And sometimes people may grow up and not have that at all, but they find something else, right? They find out who they are, what their purpose is, and that drives them. That fulfills them. That gives them the love that they may have missed. So it doesn't necessarily mean if you're growing up in a family home that's broken that you can't obtain happiness and overall self-love. That's not true. Everybody has the opportunity to do so, but you have to do that work, and you have to face that reality.
I would just like to caution everybody for the rest of we got over an hour on this broadcast to go, still the second half. Be careful about how we leave Joe feeling about himself, because I have to ride all the way back to Cornelius with him.
Good point, Chris. Good point.
So please.
Let me be clear. Let me be perfectly clear here that I know Chris's parents, and I love your daddy. You tell Pops hi.
He's watching.
Pops, I love
he
you.
is.
It really does start with the parents. It seems to. My mom and dad gave me this confidence. Chris's parents did.
Mine as well.
I know Bill. We've talked about this, Bill. So have we stumbled on to something that is important, but you're saying not absolute?
Very important. A foundation where you come from. I just did a presentation with the Mooresville town of Mooresville, the senior group at Parks and Rec for Ask the Expert. And we were talking about mental illness and family history and the family dynamics. And so your family dynamics and where you come from, that foundation matters fully, because your support system, your genetic makeup, who you are, how you interact, your relationships, confidence, that's the root of who we are. So that foundation, I think some of the things that we're running up against now in several areas of the world, they're taught. So our youth, that the side of hate and things like that, those things are taught. So we have a responsibility to our community and to our families to really support and love each other, and it does matter.
Tracy, talk a little bit, if you would, because this is one of my favorite ways to approach it. Talk a little bit about the faith element to this, because I know for me, when I am in a position where something difficult or it's something where I really need some guidance, and hopefully just every day as well, I really want to dig into my Bible.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the faith element and how you help people with that as well.
Yeah, I truly believe, I know for me personally, faith is really all I have. That's the foundation. That's the anchor, right? So I know and truly believe no matter what, everything is working out for me. So faith has allowed me to kind of have those affirmations that no matter what's going on, no matter the season, everything's going to be okay. And so even in the mental health space, I'm not a Christian-based counselor, but we do have people come into our sessions and they're looking for a little additional support around faith. And so I'm not afraid to open that up if they're open to that as well. If people don't have that, we see a lot of people who are out here, they've lost hope. They don't have anywhere to turn, so they're not as confident to know that everything's going to be okay tomorrow, because they're like, is it? How can I trust that it is? And so I'm thankful that in my position, in my purpose, in my path, I'm able to provide a light, to provide a space, to provide hope to those who may not have that.
Tracy, I know this is going to be a shock to anybody listening. I'm probably not politically correct. And so this is not a very PC thing that I'm fixing to say, but you're a competitor, you're an athlete. And another concern I have is these participation trophies, because there's no participation trophies in business.
Right.
And, Bobby Kennedy said second place sucks. I've learned as much from coming in second or third or losing as anything else. I want to win. I want to compete. I want to go head to head, and I want to beat the guy down the street. Tell me, how do you think it's impacting young people to say, oh, it's okay, you're going to get a prize too?
I think it impacts our youth in a big way. I agree with you 100%.
Whoa.
I agree.
No participation trophies?
No participation trophies. No.
Wow, Bill, good question.
None. Because you're right. We come out, there might be opportunities where we win. Somebody gets first place and somebody goes home with an L. That's okay. Get back up. It's in the adversity that we grow, right? So I think if we're always trying to kind of patch that down for our youth so they don't have to experience pain, so they don't have to cry, so they don't have to go home without their award, we're stopping some things from happening here. There's a lot of growth in loss. When I think about my biggest challenges, my biggest adversities, where I am today, it was from the setbacks. It was from the ill. It was from the last place. It was from getting fired or suspended or whatever might happen.
You ain't ever been last place in anything in your life.
Yeah, I've come in places where I'm like, I want to win.
I just can't see Tracy being suspended either.
It does. It puts a fuel to the fire that you can't get by just passing out.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So I think it's a detriment to our youth, to society, to really growing mental fitness, because now we're not able to kind of grow those neural pathways and those networks to say, let me get back out here. I remember when I talk about basketball and sport, when I played basketball at Wake Forest University, I was an all-ACC defender. And I thank my dad every single time I get a chance for that award. I said, I wouldn't have been an ACC defender without you. We used to play basketball in the backyard. And we used to play horse. He would take me to the corner shot, hit the little three.
Bust you up.
Yep, take me down low. And I would get so mad. I'd go in the house, throw the ball. He wouldn't talk trash, but he wouldn't come in and get me and say, he would wait for me to come back out, and he would make me figure it out. And so with that, not coddling me, not babying me, I was able to figure out, you know what, I'm going to stop this play. I'm going to learn how to shoot that jump shot, and I'm going to beat him. And I started to win, and I started to win, and I started to win, and I started to
go
defend
home tonight,
him.
Take him on one-on-one.
Yes. But
She got you tonight, Bob.
Yes, but I thank him because I said, you know what? You created that ACC defender.
Yeah.
You made me use my brain in a different way and figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
And Tracy, that's an awesome principle for small business. Joe and I are writing about that in this book right now,
Yes.
that you use the situation that you're in, or you study the competition of what else
Yes.
is out there and say, okay, I'm going to figure this out. You might study it. For me, like when I was doing more of the editing side of media, I would literally take a competitor's commercial and go frame by frame and try to figure out how maybe the animation worked. But it can work that way with so many things. You figure it out, you study it.
Yep.
So it's an awesome lesson overall.
You're right. And if we're just given that participation trophy, we go home thinking we've done everything we need to do. We don't go back to the work. We don't go back to the drawing board. So I'm with you, Bill.
So here's my question. Now that we all agree,
Yes.
the participation trophy don't come in my house, period. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. But the child's unhappy.
Yeah.
The child's disappointed. Now the child go to the tubes, and he go to the book, and he go to the chain, and the fella that won is saying he the best thing since sliced bread, and my child's no good. So now how do I handle this? Because now my child just didn't lose and feel uncomfortable for himself.
Right.
The winner is telling everybody they number one.
Right.
And my son is no good. He's no account.
Yep.
Now how do we handle that? Because now you're saying that down is a bigger down than when you and I used to not come home with the trophy.
Absolutely. And especially
Am I describing that challenge correctly?
You are. I think you're describing the challenge of, having a loss, a public loss, something that really does hurt. We
Right.
want to win, but then you're
Well,
having
all these championships, they're public losses.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
public losses.
yeah.
And then you got the champion putting it in your face that
Oh,
you
yeah.
lost.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I think that conversation, especially when it's geared towards our youth, we do have to be sensitive there, but that's going to be the parent's job and the parent's role to remind them that you're not just about your wins and losses. That's not where your value is. Of course you want to win. But if you really want to win, what we're going to do now to go back in here and make sure we get it next season. Right. So my conversation with our youth is not just about, it's about, next. Are we going to sit in that and allow this person to say what they're saying? Or are we going to get back to the drawing board, get back on the practice field, get better at that thing why did we lose? Like Chris was just saying, let's assess the situation so we can come back out stronger, faster next year. So it's always about the comeback. We can get stuck in what it is and the numbers now. It's a long-term game. That's just a moment in time. That's a moment in time. If we get another opportunity, I'm like, what's next? So
win or lose, what's next,
what's
right?
next, right? We have to kind of start to have a mindset, a mentality of forward thinking, of positivity, of being able to say, okay, I'm down on that one, but next. When we lose that hope, when we lose that light at the end of the tunnel, and so that's when I think about on the mental health side, so many people are in the darkness, they think they have to end their life. You don't have to end your life. I promise you it'll get better. I promise you it'll get better. What's next? So linking with those supports.
If somebody wanted to reach you, Tracy, because they darn sure don't want me helping them with their mental health, I say rub a little dirt on it, get back out there tomorrow.
Don't call Joe.
That's two things we agree on.
Yes.
How can they reach you?
You can reach us at 704-799-1270, 704-799-1270. You can go to my website, TracyAlston.com, TracyAlston.com.
So, Tracy, I wrote this down, right? And I wrote this down for you because I know my mentee, right? You understand?
Yes.
You don't make mistakes. Mistakes make you. Makes you smarter, makes you stronger, and makes you more self-reliant. I know you believe that.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. And I mean, you're smiling when I say it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get that. How do you hand that feeling to somebody? Because those aren't words. People like you and I, me and Bill, and Chris, we believe that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Our mistakes, there's two things. Number one, we're not doing it again.
Yep.
Right?
Best teachers.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm not going there again, and I'm going to pick myself up and get started again.
Yeah.
So how do we talk to people that don't think like that?
I like to ask people about the biggest challenges of their life or the biggest comebacks of their life. Because a lot of times in that story is adversity. When you think about life-changing pivotal moments where people had to pivot, whether they wanted to or not, where their entire life changed, I want to know about that. What was a life-changing moment and why? So if we can get people thinking about those types of things, underneath that story, there's going to be a hero that arose. There's going to be somebody that was laying dormant that had to wake up. You didn't even know it was in there until your back was against the wall. So I think we have more of those conversations just by being conversational, and just kind of saying, what's some of the most challenging points of your life? What are some of the highs? What are some of the lows? And how did you get through it? Everybody has a story.
Do they, Tracy?
Yes.
I mean, is there a hero story in all of us?
If you've lived life. But what
I'm thinking about, these younger kids that are having these mental challenges, you're suggesting they've got a hero story somewhere in their life.
I'm suggesting absolutely. Our youth are facing probably some of the biggest hero stories of their lives. They're having to face the world today the way it is. I can't imagine being in school today. Our youth, middle school, elementary school, high school, I can't imagine.
I mean, none of us thought worrying about a shooter coming to. I mean, it didn't cross our mind.
No.
We got to walk past a metal detector.
We had to prepare for tornadoes.
That's right.
They're having to prepare for mass shooting.
That's right.
So when you can ask our youth, what are some of their challenges? Absolutely. They have experienced some things that we can't even begin to imagine. They're having to experience relationships and friendships, helping their friends, having hard conversations. So they're out here living life. Sometimes they need a reminder that you're getting it done. You got up today, you got it done. You might have been tired, exhausted, but you got it done.
Tracy, you come from a sports background, and we all in sports, we remember that coach that pushed us harder.
Yeah.
And the coach that you ran around the track faster, and he says, well, run it again. I just came in first. Run it again.
Yep.
Same thing with business, because we're speaking to small business owners out there. Why is a business coach so important to a small business owner? And I really do believe every business ought to have somebody in there that they're listening to, advising them to go a little bit further.
Absolutely, because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Even if we're business owners, there's some things around that corner. There's some reps we need to take for other reason. I love what you just said. Run it again. Those reps, that's where the work is. That's where you really kind of get the momentum and the growth. So having a coach, somebody on the outside looking in, but it's also very intimate with what you're doing, is a game changer. It's a game changer. So I think it gives you a leg up, but it also gives you a perspective that you can't see just in that corner one-on-one and in that mirror face-to-face. So it's big.
You good?
I'm good. I'm just amazed right now. I think the
She's all right, ain't she?
fire coming out
she's
from
all
that
right.
side of the room. I'm about to take my jacket off. I feel like, because I'm just like, which is great. And look, for FCC purposes, I'm going to keep my mouth shut on some of these things right now.
You wait till she starts swinging at me.
But I grew up with the same mantra of you learn from the lessons. I mean, it's not a loss; it's a lesson.
Yes.
It's what are we going to do next time? And that's been my big push here thus far. Is okay. Look, we're going to make mistakes. Shoot or shoot, though.
Yes.
That's I want the
shoot.
ball. I want the balls going down, the clock's winding down. I want to take my shot.
Love it.
And so how do you then when you meet with someone and you're talking to them, and let's go with the child, right? Because that's the big thing. We care about children. Everyone cares about children. So what are some of those practical steps of you encouraging them to keep moving forward in this world we're in right now? What can some parents do at home right now with their children to help them keep moving forward?
Yes. That's a great question, Justin. I think what we have to start doing, because a lot of times, especially if our youth and the people that I work with, they're playing sports, they're very involved. So they are getting these trophies, they're getting these awards, they're getting these likes, these follows. They're getting affirmation from the thing that they do, not necessarily the thing that they are. So I think what we have to do as parents is really start to praise our kids when they open up that door and let somebody walk in and stand back and hold it for a second. Say, great job, Johnny. That was really kind of you. Start to praise those types of attributes, kindness, sharing, confidence, because that's what's going to build the inner part of who they are. This stuff on the outside, external, you're going to miss a shot. You're going to lose a game. You're not going to be able to get always praised for there. But if you can get to the root of who we are, their light, seeing somebody, if you have a sibling, they have siblings and they're being nice to their brother or sister, praise that. Double down on that. Making sure those things that you're seeing them be, kind, generous, sharing, loving, all those things matter. We got to spend more time depositing in there because that other stuff's going to fade away and fade away quick.
Thank you, Tracy, so much.
You hear